Welcome everyone to our channel. I hope you're having a truly quiet day, or at least a small moment to exhale. Have you ever felt that life, or something larger than life, is trying to whisper something to you not in language, but through experiences, emotions, or strangely silent moments? You're walking down the street, and suddenly a light breeze passes by, carrying the familiar scent of a distant memory, and in that instant you feel a spreading peace, as if some invisible message is being sent to you. Or you're sitting quietly by a window, watching raindrops patter down, and in the sound of that rain you hear a reminder about acceptance, about the cycles of all things. Or maybe it's a morning when you wake up with a powerful urge, with no clear reason, but you know something is inviting you to change, even if you don't yet know what it is. Does that feeling sound familiar to you? That feeling that the universe is speaking, but not with words, rather with signs, vibrations, events that seem random. That's exactly the moment when we touch the concept I want to introduce today. A concept contained in the title of the special book we will explore together, Unspoken Sermons. For me, and perhaps for you as well, the deepest lessons, the truths that reach the very bottom of the soul, are often not carefully arranged sentences on a page, nor eloquent speeches from a podium. No, they are the whispers of the wind, the stillness of a misty morning, the gaze of a stranger you happen to meet, or even the chaos of a terrible day. They are messages life sends through every experience, every emotion, every moment we exist, messages we often miss because we are too busy listening to the noise outside. Unspoken Sermons is not a collection of dry doctrines or rigid philosophies. It is a reminder that we are surrounded by countless meaningful sermons, timeless lessons, but we must learn to listen with another sense, with our hearts and souls. Sometimes the universe doesn't need ornate language or lifeless dogma. It only needs us to open up and receive. And over the next 90 minutes, we won't simply be analyzing a book. This isn't just a regular book review. We will learn how to listen, how to decode, how to find meaning and guidance in the most seemingly random, lifeless details of life. We will open the ears of the soul to hear sermons that do not need words, do not need a preacher or a specific textbook. This is a journey of self-discovery, a deeper exploration of the world around us through the lens of unspoken sermons. Let's relax, take a deep breath, and prepare for an adventure that I believe will touch the hidden corners of your soul and maybe, just maybe, change the way you see the world, even if only a little. We will search together for those silent messages, those sermons that have always been there, waiting for you to listen. Are you ready? Let's begin. Unspoken Sermons, a voice from the soul. Hello, my companions on this journey of seeking meaning and depth in life. Have you ever felt as if there were a quiet calling from the depths of your soul, inviting you to discover truths that cannot be put into words, realities hidden right inside our everyday lives? There are times when we need someone wise enough, sensitive enough, to translate those invisible feelings into language so we can see, touch, and understand them. Today, we will listen together to those voices from the soul through a classic work called Unspoken Sermons, written by a great thinker. I know the title Unspoken Sermons, or A Voice from the Soul, might make you imagine something rather solemn, perhaps even strongly dogmatic. It may sound like a dry church homily or a severe religious lecture. But trust me, this book is nothing like that. On the contrary, it is a treasure of contemplation, a collection of profound reflections soaked in love and understanding of human nature, and of our connection to this universe. And the one who distilled these precious gems is George MacDonald. His name may still feel unfamiliar to many of you, but I'm certain you have encountered his deep influence at least once without realizing it. MacDonald was not only a celebrated writer of enchanting fairy tales and novels filled with magic and wisdom, he was also a quiet spiritual teacher. He inspired and planted seeds of humanistic philosophy in the minds of literary giants such as C.S. Lewis, author of the Chronicles of Narnia, and J.R.R. Tolkien, the father of the Lord of the Rings. Think about it, if a thinker could inspire minds that great, then what he wrote must contain astonishing depth, doesn't it? MacDonald didn't merely write, he contemplated. He didn't merely tell stories, he explored the deepest layers of the soul and the universe. He devoted his whole life to asking and seeking answers to the greatest questions humanity has ever asked. What is true love? Where does absolute truth reside? What is the purpose of suffering? And what is the real meaning of living a full life? Unspoken Sermons is the crystallization of those contemplations. This book is not sermons in the literal sense, not rigid preaching or strict rules. Instead, it is like a series of inner conversations, sudden flashes of light in the darkness, illuminating aspects we often overlook. It is a gathering of subtle reflections on the intimate relationship between human beings and wondrous nature, with universal laws of the cosmos, and most importantly, with the sacred hidden deep within each individual. Every page, every paragraph is an invitation to pause, breathe deeply, and see life from a fresher, deeper angle. It challenges us to go beyond ordinary thinking, to feel with the heart and the soul. And I know that when words like sacred or spiritual appear, some of you might feel hesitant or assume this will be a heavily religious video. Please set that thought aside immediately. This is the essential and distinctive point of this series. My goal and MacDonald's goal in writing this work is not to preach any particular faith, nor to invite you into any sect. Not at all. We will approach and explore MacDonald's timeless messages through a deeply human lens, the lens of profound philosophy, human psychology, and most importantly, the lived experiences of us modern people struggling with worries, desires, and the great questions of the 21st century. We will look for universal truths about unconditional love, about truth that must be accepted, about compassion that must be cultivated, and about the true nature of inner freedom values that anyone, whether religious or not, can resonate with and apply in life. This is not just reading a book. This is a dialogue between a great mind from the past and ourselves in the present. A dialogue that calls for reflection, openness, and the courage to look deeply within. So what is the ultimate goal we want to achieve through this series on Unspoken Sermons? Very simple, that together we find tools, fresh perspectives, guiding lights to live a life not merely of survival, but a life deeper, more meaningful, a life full of connection, love, and inner peace. We will learn to listen to the voice of our own souls, to find guidance, to rediscover dormant strength we may have forgotten. This journey doesn't promise definitive answers for everything. Instead, it helps us ask better questions and, more importantly, to trust our own ability to seek the answers. I am truly excited to accompany you on this spiritual adventure. Open your heart, let George MacDonald's reflections gently soak into your soul, the way a clear stream flows through a silent forest, refreshing and awakening every sense. Let's begin together. Chapter 1, The Sacred Within Each of Us. Today, we begin a special journey and inward voyage through the lens of one of the great thinkers I deeply admire, George MacDonald, and his classic work Unspoken Sermons. We will open with Chapter 1, a chapter whose title I think will touch many hearts, The Sacred Within Each of Us. The aim of this part is nothing less than to explore a powerful idea together, that the source of all truth, all love, and all goodness is not somewhere far away out there, but dwells inside the soul, inside the heart of each of us. Let's relax, take a deep breath, and begin. 1. The divine spark within everyone. George MacDonald, with the sensitivity and insight of a poet and philosopher, did not believe in a distant God dwelling above and dispensing judgment. For him, the sacred, what he often called the indwelling God, is a spark, a divine seed existing in every being, every human. Picture this within each of us. Beneath the layers of society, prejudice, and life experience, there is a precious gem. This gem is not something we need to search for outside ourselves. It has always been there, hidden, waiting to be recognized and nurtured. It is our truest essence, the place where unconditional love and primordial wisdom reside. MacDonald believed this was not only a religious belief, but a principle of living, a foundational truth about human nature and the universe. It means that you, right now, do not need to prove your worth, nor seek approval from outside to feel whole, because the sacred already lies within you. It is an inseparable part of ultimate truth, a part of the boundless source of love too. the inner call, and the difference from mere rule-keeping. In daily life, we are often taught to obey rules, standards, and moral codes laid down by society, family, or even religious dogma. We try to live by what is said to be right to avoid criticism, to be accepted, or to receive a reward. However, MacDonald pointed to a crucial difference here. He invited us not to stop at rule-keeping, but to listen to the voice within the voice of that divine spark. Rule-keeping often comes from fear of punishment, fear of exclusion, fear of not being loved. It is an outside in compulsion. Listening to the inner voice, by contrast, is an act of freedom, love, and truth. It is when you feel something is right from the deepest place in your heart, not because someone tells you to do it, but because you know it must be done. This inner voice is our true moral compass. It is not based on rigid dogma, but on a deep understanding of love, compassion, and justice. When we live from this place, our actions become more authentic, more meaningful, and bring real peace to ourselves and others. 3. How to recognize and nurture this inner connection. So if the sacred is already within, how do we recognize and nurture it amid the busyness of life? This is the most important question, and MacDonald offers a few subtle suggestions. First and most important is stillness. Our world is too noisy. Each day we are bombarded by information, demands, and voices from outside. To hear the small, gentle voice within, we must create moments of peace. This could be a few minutes of meditation each morning, a walk in nature without a phone, or simply sitting quietly, listening to your own breath. Second is self-inquiry. Take time to ask yourself what truly matters to me. What makes me feel most alive, most myself? When do I feel I love and am loved the most? These questions will help you dig deeper into your true nature. Third is acting on even the smallest good impulses. Sometimes we get a sudden thought to help someone, to say something kind, or to create something. Instead of dismissing it, listen and act on it. Each small, authentic act strengthens your connection to the sacred within. Finally, spend time with nature, art, music, anything that lifts your soul. These experiences often open a doorway to inner truth, helping us feel connection and the beauty of life. 4. Real-life examples of the inner voice. You might be thinking, that sounds nice, but how do I know it's the sacred within me speaking? Don't worry, these experiences are often familiar and close at hand. Intuition. Have you ever known something was right or wrong without any logical reason? A strong hunch about a person or a situation. That is your intuition speaking, a form of communication from the sacred within. The impulse to do good. You're walking along and suddenly want to help an elderly person cross the street or pick up a piece of trash. You feel warmth and inner joy in doing good without expecting anything back. That is the sacred within guiding you toward love and compassion. Aha! Moments you're stuck with a problem, and suddenly a new idea flashes into your mind. A truth becomes clear and you feel, yes, this is it. That is the moment your inner wisdom connects with consciousness, bringing insight. Or those times when you feel deep peace, a reasonless joy while watching a sunset or hugging someone you love. These are moments of strong connection to your sacred essence. So there we are, my dear friends. The sacred is not something distant or reserved for special people. It is an inherent part of you, right now. It is the source of truth, love, goodness, and wisdom you have always sought. George MacDonald's message and Chapter 1's message is a powerful invitation. Do not seek truth outside before you explore and trust it within. Make time each day for stillness, for listening, for connecting with your deeper self. Because there, you will find everything you need. Try this in your life. Pay attention to your intuition, your good impulses, your aha moments. You will be amazed to realize that the sacred truly speaks with you every day. Chapter 2. The nature of true obedience. The word obedience can sound heavy, old-fashioned, even negative, right? For many people, and for me for a long time, obedience is tied to images of blind submission, coercion, and imposed control. Imagine a child forced to follow an unreasonable command from an adult without being allowed to ask why. Or an adult required to obey rules they don't believe in, simply because they are laws or tradition. It evokes loss of freedom, psychological burden, a kind of restraint. We grow up with definitions of obedience linked to phrases like must do, must not do, comply, follow orders. And sometimes, in our search for independence and self-mastery, we resist every form of obedience, seeing it as chains, as something that blocks us from becoming our true selves. But is that truly the essence of obedience? Is there a way to experience obedience not as outside pressure, but as inner harmony? Unspoken Sermons invites us to look again. It redefines obedience not as the act of a slave, but of an awakened soul. It is not mechanical submission, but conscious alignment with the laws of love and truth. Think about this: when you decide to live honestly with your conscience, even if it goes against the crowd, when you choose to do what's right, even when it's hard, even when it demands sacrifice, that is not obeying an external command. That is obeying the best, deepest self within you. You are following the goodness, love, and wisdom the universe has placed in each of us. It is loyalty to your core values, to inner truth you feel. True obedience, in this view, is the act of aligning with your highest nature. It is not compulsion, it is a conscious choice to live by what you believe to be truth and virtue. And here is where we touch a seemingly paradoxical idea: true obedience is the path to real freedom. That sounds strange, doesn't it? How can obedience bring freedom? Think more carefully. When we live in alignment with universal truth's laws of love, justice, compassion, truth, are we being constrained? Or are we freeing ourselves from the chains of selfishness, fear, ignorance, and illusions created by the small ego? Freedom is not doing whatever we want without discipline, because that often leads to unwanted consequences and ends up becoming bondage. True freedom is the ability to live in harmony with what we ought to do, what is right, with the laws that govern the universe and human nature. For example, a person who obeys the laws of health, eating well, exercising regularly, resting properly, are they being forced? Or are they freeing themselves from illness and weakness, gaining energy and the ability to do what they want? That is freedom born of conscious obedience to natural laws. This obedience is not servitude to outside power, but harmony with a higher order, a wisdom greater than the personal ego. Only by aligning with truth, love, and our highest nature do we become truly free from anxiety, free from judgment, free from the shackles of ignorance. To picture it more clearly, imagine a tree. A tree stands firm between earth and sky, reaching upward. It does not argue with nature. It does not try to grow downward into the soil or drop its leaves in spring. It simply reaches towards sunlight, draws nourishment from the earth, blossoms and bears fruit according to the laws of life. That reaching toward light is the purest, most natural obedience. The tree does not feel imposed upon. It does not struggle against nature's flow. It is simply being itself in the fullest way. And as you see, that obedience brings beauty, vitality, and growth. A tree that does not follow natural laws becomes stunted, withers, and dies. We are the same. Like the tree, we have an inner instinct toward goodness, beauty, and truth. When we listen to and follow that call, we do not lose ourselves. We become more whole. We live more authentically, meaningfully, and freely. This is obedience born of love and deep understanding of all things, not fear or pressure. So from now on, when we speak of obedience, think of it as a dance of harmony with the universe, a conscious choice to live truthfully, lovingly, and freely. This is not a lesson in rigid rule following, but an invitation to live by the noblest essence of who you are, so you may flourish like trees reaching for the sun. Thank you for listening. Reflect on this idea, and I look forward to seeing you in the next part. Chapter 3. The Childlike Heart, the Key to Wisdom. Have you ever wondered what we lose as we grow up? When we were children, the world was an endless treasure of wonders. A tiny ant crawling on the floor could be a whole adventure. A dewdrop resting on a leaf could sparkle like a diamond. We believed what we were told, eagerly explored every corner, and kept asking, why? But as time passes, years, experiences, lessons, life can unintentionally dress us in a coat of skepticism, preset knowledge, and an attitude of I already know everything. MacDonald wants us to take that coat off. He is not praising ignorant naivety, but a far deeper quality: limitless trust, unending curiosity, and the capacity for awe at everything around us. A child looks at the world with wide-open eyes, without prejudice, ready to receive what is new. They don't rush to judge or question the intentions of creation or others. They accept, learn, and trust. For MacDonald, this is the key to approaching the deepest truths, especially truths about the Creator and the meaning of life. He believed that God does not hide in complex doctrines or lofty philosophies only scholars can grasp. God is present in simplicity and the beauty of all things, in birdsong, in morning sunlight. And to see, to truly feel and understand, we need the clear eyes and open heart of a child. Only then can we receive the messages meant for us, without the filter of suspicion or dry rationalism. A childlike spirit is not ignorance. It is willingness to learn, humility before a world larger than what we can grasp. By contrast, as we grow up, especially in a world saturated with information and complexity, we easily fall into the trap of skepticism and intellectual arrogance. Skepticism is like dust on the lens of the soul, making us unable to see pure beauty or simple truth. We begin to doubt everything: good intentions, miracles, wonder. We question every motive, every word, and in the end we lock ourselves into a world of cold logic and material evidence. Skepticism can protect us from deception, but when excessive it blocks us from receiving even the most beautiful truths. And intellectual arrogance. It is the fortress wall we build around ourselves, declaring that we already know it all, that there is nothing left to learn. We pride ourselves on what we have read, studied, experienced until there is no room for newness or different perspectives. MacDonald warns that this attitude is the greatest obstacle to true spiritual and intellectual growth. Real wisdom is not having more knowledge, but humbly realizing we can always learn more, that there are always greater things beyond our current understanding. When we close the doors of curiosity and awe, we also close the doors to life's deepest truths. So how do we rediscover that wonder? How do we wipe away the dust of skepticism and break down walls of arrogance we have built? MacDonald does not ask us to become literal children. He asks us to reclaim the spirit. First, practice quiet observation. Spend a few minutes each day simply observing something: a leaf, a ripple on water, a passing cloud. Do not analyze, name, or seek meaning. Just observe with all your senses as if seeing it for the first time. You will be surprised by details and shades you never noticed before. Second, learn to ask why. Again, not why am I suffering in complaint, but why is the sky blue? Why do we have love? Why is this flower structured so beautifully? Ask questions you think are silly, questions a child might ask. They will open new doors of thought and let you see the complexity and beauty behind what seems simple. Third, accept uncertainty. A child doesn't need to understand everything to enjoy it. We don't need answers to every question to experience truth. Sometimes mystery and not knowing are part of beauty. Allow yourself to be comfortable without all the answers. Finally, look for beauty and wonder in the smallest, most ordinary things: a stranger's smile, a familiar melody, the scent of fresh bread. Life constantly surrounds us with astonishing moments if we slow down enough and open our hearts to see them. To close this chapter, I want to share a parable one MacDonald might smile at. Long ago, there was a learned scholar who spent his life reading books, studying classics, searching for answers to the greatest questions about the universe and the meaning of life. He traveled everywhere, debated philosophers, and wrote hundreds of books. One day, he sat beneath an ancient tree and sighed heavily. Though he knew so much, he still felt something essential missing, some great truth he believed was still hiding somewhere. A small child ran up, holding a tiny wild purple flower just picked from the roadside. The child said nothing, only lifted the flower and gazed at it with eyes full of wonder, as if it were the most precious jewel on earth. Then the child gently offered the flower to the scholar. The scholar looked at the flower, then at the child. In the child's clear eyes he saw not seeking or analysis, but full presence, pure contemplation. The child didn't ask, "Why is the flower so beautiful?" or "What does it mean?" The child was simply living in the moment of that beauty. In that instant, a door opened in the scholar's soul. He suddenly realized that the greatest truths are not always hidden in ancient volumes or academic arguments. Sometimes they are present simply, clearly in dewdrops, petals, breath waiting for a heart wide enough to receive. And that heart is the childlike heart. My dear friends, MacDonald's message in this chapter is truly profound. It reminds us that to live fully and touch the highest truths of the universe, we must nurture the childlike spirit within us, trust, curiosity, and the capacity for awe. Keep your heart open, always ready to receive wonder, even in the smallest things. Let us rediscover this world with a childlike heart, with eyes full of amazement and limitless trust. This is not only the path to the deepest truths MacDonald speaks of, but also the path to a life more meaningful, whole, and joyful. Thank you for listening. See you in the next chapter, where we will continue uncovering more hidden messages from Unspoken Sermons. Chapter 4: Nature, the Silent Teacher. Have you ever stood before a towering ancient tree and felt its steadfastness, its endurance across hundreds of years? Or listened to a brook murmuring as it flows unceasingly, winding past rocks to move forward? Or perhaps watched the seasons change from bright green spring buds to the blazing vitality of summer, the quiet depth of autumn, and the gentle sleep of winter? Nature does not speak with words, yet its sermons are deeper than any textbook we have ever studied. Let us begin with the most basic elements. What does each element in nature teach us? A tree teaches us patience. It does not rush. It slowly drives its roots deep into the earth to seek nourishment, then stretches its branches and leaves upward to receive light. It faces storms and drought, yet remains standing. A tree teaches giving without demand, offering shade, sweet fruit, oxygen in the air. It shows us that growth is not only reaching upward, but also rooting deeply. Its life is proof of perseverance, no matter how harsh the circumstances. A river teaches us letting go and adapting. Water never tries to resist the current. It flows around obstacles, or wears them down over time. Water always finds its way, whether slipping through the narrowest crack or carving through massive stone. It never stops moving, symbolizing eternal change and renewal. The river reminds us that life is also a flow, and sometimes letting go of what we cannot control is the best way to continue the journey. Seasons. Then there is the eternal cycle of the seasons. Spring is hope, a new beginning, life rising from winter's cold. Summer is an explosion of energy, abundance, and flourishing. Autumn is harvest time, the season of releasing what is no longer needed, with golden leaves falling. Winter is not the end but necessary rest, preparation for a new cycle, a time for silence and renewal. Each season carries its own lesson, yet together they draw a complete picture of life, death, and rebirth. The lesson of acceptance and cycles from nature's laws. The greatest lesson from nature may be acceptance. Nature accepts everything. It accepts cold winter as well as hot summer. It accepts rain as well as sunshine. There is no resistance or complaint. This teaches us to accept the unavoidable laws of life, change, loss, and ultimately death. We cannot cling to spring forever, nor can we banish winter. But we can learn to find beauty and meaning in each phase. Just as trees shed leaves in autumn to prepare for winter, we must learn to let go of what no longer serves us, making room for new growth. This acceptance is not passivity. It is joining the great dance of life, recognizing that everything has a cycle, a time to begin and a time to end. And within every ending lies the seed of a new beginning. How connecting with nature helps us connect with ourselves. What happens when we spend time in nature? We slow down. We listen. Birdsongs, rustling leaves, the smell of wet soil after rain, the feel of wind on skin. Our senses awaken, and our minds soften. In nature's vastness, our personal worries seem smaller. Connecting with nature is a powerful way to connect with ourselves. It helps us hear the inner voice that modern noise often drowns out. When we step into a forest, a beach, or even a small park, we are reminded that we are part of something larger. We are reminded of our finiteness, yet also our deep connection to all things. Nature is a natural therapy that restores peace, clarity, and belonging. It reminds us that, like a tree, we need space to grow upward and deep roots to stand firm. Quoting MacDonald's poetic passages describing nature. George MacDonald, with his sensitive soul and deep gaze, saw this more clearly than anyone. His wordless sermons are often adorned with vivid natural images, because for him, nature is a window into the Creator's heart. He saw in every small seed, in the sprouting of a fragile green shoot, a promise of life, a miracle of invisible perseverance. For MacDonald, nothing in nature is trivial. Each leaf, each dewdrop carries a sacred message. He once wrote of mountains standing like contemplative saints, teaching patience and a wide horizon, while rivers flowing unceasingly whisper stories of endurance and perpetual change. He believed their majesty and beauty were silent hymns echoing life's deeper meaning. For him, daylight brings joy and clarity, while night holds mystery and necessary rest, each with its own value. He did not fear darkness, but saw it as part of the cycle, the veil through which life renews and prepares for a new day. Even in violent storms, he found beauty and cleansing, believing that after every tempest the world is washed clean, and new life can rise stronger. He saw rain as the sky's tears, washing away dust and bringing freshness to all things. This is not mere description of scenery, but reading the hidden message within, feeling the sacred breath moving through every blade of grass and grain of dust. Nature, for MacDonald, is a vast cathedral where every creature is part of a great prayer, unspoken yet reaching the deepest soul. So nature truly is a silent teacher, a quiet but wise guide. It teaches life, death, patience, and rebirth. It reminds us of the unity of all things and the beauty of acceptance. Next time you take a walk, open your soul. Listen to the wind's whisper, watch the resilience of a wildflower, feel life pulsing through every stem and branch. You will realize that life's greatest sermon sometimes needs no words at all. I hope you found peace and inspiration in this chapter. Let's explore another facet of Unspoken Sermons in the next video. Chapter 5. Suffering as a Sculptor. If you've followed my channel, you know I have always believed that great books are not only meant to be read, but to be lived with. And on our journey through Unspoken Sermons, we have walked into hidden corners of the soul, truths that can be difficult to accept. Today we pause at perhaps the most challenging, yet also the most illuminating chapter. Chapter 5. Suffering as a Sculptor. Seeing that title, many people may frown. Suffering. A tool. A sculptor. None of us enjoys pain. Our natural instinct tells us to avoid it, to escape it by any means. But George MacDonald, with his deep and somewhat shocking perspective, invites us to a completely different view. He does not see suffering as punishment from an angry, omnipotent being, nor as a meaningless accident. For him, suffering is a necessary tool, a skilled artisan that shapes our souls, removes the excess ego, and reveals the hidden beauty within each person. Think about this for a moment. When pain strikes, what is our first reaction? I believe each of us has asked at least once, why me? Why is this happening to me? What did I do wrong? We place ourselves as victims, objects of senseless torment. And here MacDonald challenges us to change the question from why me to what is this teaching me? A small shift in questioning, yet it opens an entirely different world. From victimhood, we become students. From resentment, we move into curiosity. From passive endurance, we become active seekers of meaning. This does not mean we must love pain, nor pretend it doesn't hurt. It means that even in the darkest moments, we can trust that something deeper is being served. MacDonald uses a powerful image for pain, a purifying fire. Imagine a rough piece of metal filled with impurities. To become something valuable, a sharp sword, or a shining jewel, it must pass through fire. Fire does not burn away the metal's true essence, it burns away what is not its essence. It removes the dross and waste that cloud and weigh it down. Our suffering is the same. It is a fire that burns away the shells we've built around ourselves, arrogant ego, unrealistic expectations, baseless fears, obsessions with fame, money, power. It burns the masks we wear to please others, the prejudices we cling to. The process may be scorching and painful, but when the fire dies down, what remains is our true essence, purer, stronger, more real. A version of ourselves we may not have known existed. So what should we do when facing this fire? We can try to run. Many people do. They bury themselves in work, fleeting relationships, temporary pleasures, substances, or simply avoid thinking about the roots of their pain. Escape may bring short-term relief, a brief sedative. But pain, like a shadow, always follows. It hides in the subconscious, gnawing inside, leaving us without genuine peace. Instead, MacDonald invites us to face and accept suffering with courage. Acceptance does not mean surrender, it means acknowledging its existence, allowing ourselves to feel it fully. When we face it, we begin to understand it. We recognize its lessons. We learn to release what no longer serves our growth. And within acceptance, transformation begins to reveal itself. We do not merely endure pain, we mature through it. We do not merely survive the storm, we become stronger after each storm. To illustrate this, MacDonald uses the image of a sculptor. Picture a massive block of marble, rough and newly quarried from the earth. It contains magnificent potential, but in itself it is nothing, yet only a heavy, shapeless mass. Then a gifted sculptor arrives. He looks at the marble not as a lifeless block, but as a statue hidden within, an artwork waiting to be freed. He begins his work. The first chisel blows are coarse and forceful, removing what is unnecessary. The sound is harsh, fragments fly. The marble seems tortured, cut away. But each blow is purposeful, each blow a step toward the beautiful form. Then come finer strokes, detailed carving. Finally, smoothing and polishing reveal radiant beauty, natural veins, softness within what seemed rigid. Throughout the process, the marble has no desire to be struck or polished. If it were conscious, it might scream in pain, resist the sculptor. Yet because of the sculptor's hand and vision, a lifeless block becomes a living statue, a masterpiece that can move hearts. We are the same. We are rough marble containing limitless potential to become a great work of art. Suffering is the sculptor. It shapes away our ego, our outer shells, our trivial attachments. It removes what is not our true essence so a truer, nobler self can appear. This process is not easy. It requires patience, courage, and faith that behind every cut, every hurt, there is a larger purpose waiting. So the next time pain knocks at your door, instead of asking, "Why me?" try asking, "How is this shaping me? What is this burning away that is not truly me? What version of me is this preparing?" Let suffering be not an enemy, but a teacher, a skilled sculptor, quietly working to reveal the beauty hidden deep within you. I believe that when we change the way we see suffering, we don't just change our experience of it, we change our entire life. We will no longer fear challenges, but see them as opportunities to grow, to discover ourselves more deeply. Chapter 6. Forgiveness, the act of liberating yourself. We have traveled together through many emotional stages, many profound perspectives from Unspoken Sermons, and I believe that every chapter we've explored has planted its own seed of reflection. Now, we will pause at a chapter that may be the most challenging, yet also the most freeing, chapter 6. Forgiveness, the act of liberating yourself. When we talk about forgiveness, many people's first reaction may be hesitation, even anger. Why do I have to forgive the person who hurt me? Why do I have to forgive what happened? And perhaps the most important question we need to answer here, this forgiveness is not a gift you give to someone else, but a key you use to unlock your own handcuffs. It is the act of untying yourself from the burden of the past and resentment. Imagine it like this. When you hold on to resentment, bitterness, or the pain of something that happened, you are not only living with the memory of that event, but also letting it shape your emotions, your energy, and even your future. It is like willingly wearing an invisible chain, one end tied to a wound, the other tied to your own soul. Each day, that chain grows heavier and pulls you down further. And forgiveness is the act of cutting that chain. First, let's clear up a few basic misunderstandings about forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. This is what I want to emphasize. What happened, the pain you went through, cannot and does not need to be erased from memory. They are part of your life story, the lessons and scars that made you who you are today. Forgiveness does not ask you to pretend everything is fine or deny the pain. Instead, it is accepting that it happened and choosing not to let it keep hurting you. It also does not mean excusing wrongdoing. Forgiveness is not agreeing with what someone did or saying they were right to do it. Never. You do not have to accept that behavior or continue allowing it. Forgiveness is an inner decision, a spiritual journey, not a license for others to keep causing harm. You have every right to set boundaries, protect yourself, even seek justice if necessary. Forgiveness simply means you no longer let someone else's actions control your emotions and your life. So what is forgiveness, and how do we practice it? It is a process, and it often begins with very concrete steps. The first step, and perhaps the hardest, is acknowledging the pain. You can't forgive something you haven't admitted has hurt you. Allow yourself to feel and name those emotions: anger, sadness, disappointment, betrayal. Don't try to suppress or deny them. Face them as honestly as you can. This process may be painful, but it is the foundation of healing. Once you have looked the pain straight in the eye, the next step is a conscious decision, the decision to let go. Letting go here means letting go of the burden of resentment, bitterness, the desire for revenge, or the wish that others suffer as they deserve. This is not easy. Our minds often cling to these emotions as self-protection, as a way to feel powerful. But in reality, they only drain our energy and dim the light in our souls. The decision to let go is an act of courage, a conscious choice to free yourself. And when you release that burden, you will find a new peace. It is the peace that comes from no longer being bound to past events. You free that energy to live, to love, to create, instead of sinking into hatred or regret. This peace does not mean you forget. It means those scars no longer ache every day. But there is one aspect of forgiveness even more complicated than forgiving others: forgiving yourself. This is often the hardest step, but also the most important on this path. We are often quick to criticize ourselves, holding past mistakes like scars we cannot erase. We torment ourselves for wrong choices, careless words, what we did or didn't do. And that torment can become a prison we lock ourselves in. How can you live a full life if you keep carrying a backpack heavy with guilt and regret? Forgiving yourself is not accepting weakness. It is accepting human imperfection, learning from mistakes, and allowing yourself to move forward. It is recognizing that you did the best you could with what you knew and had at that time. And if you did wrong, forgiving yourself is a commitment to do better in the future, not to destroy yourself in the present. This is an act of compassion, a gift of love you absolutely deserve to receive. Forgiveness, in a way, really is a miracle. It breaks the loop of hatred, the law of eye for eye, tooth for tooth. When someone hurts you, and you respond with anger and resentment, you keep that negative chain reaction alive. But when you choose forgiveness, you not only change your own path, you create a chance to change the entire chain. It is the miracle of transformation, transforming pain into strength, bitterness into peace, hatred into compassion. I believe that when we forgive, we not only change our lives, we also positively affect those around us, creating a ripple of healing that spreads outward. So yes, forgiveness is not weakness, but strength. It is not accepting injustice, but refusing to let that injustice keep ruling your emotions and your life. It is an act of courage, proof of the human ability to rise above pain. Take time to reflect on the burdens you are carrying. Is there something that needs to be released, something that needs to be forgiven? Maybe it is someone else, maybe it is an event in the past, and maybe most importantly it is forgiving yourself. Remember, you deserve to be free. You deserve to live a lighter, more peaceful life. In the next chapter, we will continue our journey into other aspects of healing and self-development. Chapter 7. The Death of the Ego. If you are on a path of spiritual growth, wanting to explore yourself more deeply, then this is the chapter for you. Because according to George MacDonald, the author of Unspoken Sermons, that journey requires us to dare to face and allow a part of ourselves to die. It is the death of the selfish ego, full of desire and fear, so that our true self, our authentic being, can be born. So what is the ego? Simply put, it is the image you build of yourself. It is the story you tell yourself and the world about who you are. I am intelligent. I am successful. I am a victim. I am weak. I am lovable. Or I am not good enough. It is the sum of our fears, our bottomless cravings, and the prejudices we cling to. The ego is the center of the world we perceive, where everything revolves around how I feel, what I want, what I get. And how does this ego show up in our lives? Oh, in countless ways. It shows up in stubbornly needing to be right in every argument, even when deep down you know you're wrong or unsure. It is the discomfort when others succeed more than you, or the urge to boast about your achievements. It is the fear of rejection and failure, pushing us to avoid new opportunities. It drives us to chase external things like money, power, fame, beauty, believing they will fill an inner emptiness. It is the non-stop critical voice in your head, or the blaming voice when things don't go your way. It is also constant comparison with others, sometimes feeling superior, sometimes inferior, both leading to insecurity. MacDonald believes that for the true person to be born, that ego must die, but this death is not self-destruction or a brutal shedding as we often imagine. It is a process that happens daily, in every moment, through the practice of letting go. To die each day means letting go of attachments to a title, an ideal image you try to maintain. Letting go of the need to control everything around you, from other people's actions to the outcome of events. Have you ever worried so much you couldn't eat or sleep over something that hasn't happened yet? That is your ego trying to control the future. It also means letting go of fixed prejudices about others, about the world, and about yourself. Instead of rushing to judge, practice listening and understanding. Let go of the desire for external validation and praise. Instead, seek peace and worth from within. I remember once I spent a lot of time and effort preparing an important project. I poured my heart into it, and my ego clung tightly to the desire for recognition and praise. As a result, when the project didn't receive the approval I expected, I felt deeply disappointed, even angry. For a whole week I sank into irritation, until I asked myself, why do I feel this way? Is it because the project is bad, or because my ego is not satisfied? When I realized it was my ego speaking, I decided to let go. I accepted that not everything goes my way, and that my value does not depend on external recognition. And then, a strange lightness washed over me, like I had loosened an invisible shackle from my neck. That is a small example of dying each day. It is not a grand event, but a series of tiny choices. You notice your ego trying to take control, and you choose to release it. So what is the difference between the ego and the true self? The ego is a mask, a shell we unconsciously build from childhood to survive and adapt. It is an artificial construction, fragile and full of anxiety. It always needs to be fed, protected, proven. Our true self is entirely different. It is stillness, unconditional love, a deep connection with everything around us. It does not need to prove anything, compare anything, or seek recognition. It simply is. The true self is your deepest, most original essence, where wisdom and compassion live. It is as if the ego is the rough, thorny shell, while the true self is the seed inside, ready to sprout when the shell is removed. And when the ego dies, you do not disappear, you are truly born. When that false shell is stripped away, what awaits us? It is immense joy and relief in living a life no longer ruled by the ego. Imagine waking up one day no longer haunted by anxiety about what others think, no longer torn by fear of the future or regret about the past. You live fully in the present. You will experience joy without a reason, inner peace not dependent on outer circumstances. Compassion will naturally rise. You will connect with people and all things more authentically, without walls. You will gain true freedom, the freedom to be yourself, without fear, judgment, or the urge to control. It is as if a massive burden has been lifted, allowing you to breathe, stand tall, and live as your whole true self. The death of the ego is not a tragic ending, but a magnificent beginning. A rebirth into a real life, full of love and freedom. It requires courage to face the darkest parts of yourself, and patience to release them little by little. Think about it, what can you let go of today? A stubborn attachment, a fear, or a need for approval. Chapter 8, Love is the ultimate fire. When we speak of love, we often think of romantic relationships, family affection, or close friendship. These are wonderful, no doubt. But MacDonald draws a very clear distinction, a boundary I believe is crucial for understanding this ultimate fire: selfish love and selfless love, or unconditional love. Selfish love, he calls it, the kind of love the ego wants. It is built on exchange and personal benefit. I love you because you are beautiful, because you make me feel safe, because you make me happy, or because you meet my desires. It is like a debt, a transaction. I love you because you give me something. And when those things are gone, when you no longer meet my expectations, that love fades easily. It is possessive, controlling, clinging. This flame may burn bright, yet easily turns to ash, because it is not the true essence of the ultimate fire. Selfless love, unconditional love, is a completely different story. It does not demand or calculate. It simply wants the best for the other, regardless of personal gain. It does not say, I love you because, but I love you, that's all. It is giving without expecting return, full acceptance without judgment. This unconditional love does not depend on the other's actions, nor waver in the face of flaws or mistakes. This is the first purifying fire MacDonald speaks of. It burns away the selfish, petty ego within us, revealing a wider, more compassionate nature. And here is an idea I find incredibly powerful, one that can change how you see and experience love. Love is not a feeling, but an action, a choice, and above all, a state of being. In our era, love is often described as a blazing emotion, a passionate intoxication. We wait for the feeling of love to come, as if it were something outside us. But MacDonald and I completely agree, insists that love is not only an emotion. Feelings come and go like tides. Real love is action. It is choice. It is choosing to listen when you are tired, choosing to forgive when you are hurt, choosing patience when things are hard. It is deciding to stand with someone even when they are imperfect. It is as small as making a morning coffee for someone you love, and as great as sacrificing for a larger ideal. Each act, big or small, is a conscious choice to embody love. Even more, it is a state of being. When you choose to live in love, you see the world differently. You don't merely feel love, you are love. Every action, every thought is infused with that essence. It is like choosing to be a good person, not just feeling good, but living goodness. When this fire of love truly ignites within us, it does not stay still, it transforms. It can change both giver and receiver in astonishingly deep ways. What does the giver of unconditional love receive? An expanded heart, a reduced ego, and growing joy. When you give love without expecting return, you break the chains of selfishness. Your joy multiplies as you bring joy to others, as you see them healed and growing. Love makes us braver, more generous, and truly freer. And the receiver? Oh, the transformation can be even deeper. Unconditional love has the power to heal the most invisible, profound wounds, soothe the pain of loneliness, rejection, and past hurt. It nurtures faith and hope, showing the receiver their true worth, that they are worthy of love, no matter what. Love is the only miracle capable of turning a hardened heart into a feeling heart, a wounded soul into a shining spirit. MacDonald sees this as the healing aspect of the ultimate fire. It not only burns away impurities, but also rebuilds what was broken. Now let's raise our thinking a little higher, an idea I believe is beautiful and deep. What if love is not just a small concept between people, but the essence of all existence, the fundamental and supreme force of the universe? MacDonald envisions a universe where every atom, every planet, every living being is moved by the law of love. Not a dry, mechanical law, but a living, compassionate, creative law. Love is the gravity that draws galaxies together, the force that lets life bloom, the intelligence behind nature's perfect order. When we look at the universe's order, nature's delicate balance, the astonishing complexity of life, are they not all singing a hymn of love, of a loving creator who made love the foundation of all that exists? Love is not only what we feel, it is why we exist, the final essence of truth. So there it is, friends. Chapter 8 of Unspoken Sermons is not merely a sermon about love. It is a declaration, a powerful reminder that love, in its unconditional meaning, is not an endpoint but a beginning. It is the ultimate fire, purifying what is false, healing wounds, lighting the way, and serving as the essence of everything good, the backbone of the entire universe. Reflect on this. Try living with that love in every smallest act, every choice, and you will see the world around you change, starting from within you. Chapter 9. Justice that restores, not punishes. Punitive justice versus restorative justice. First, let us clarify two concepts that may sound familiar yet mean very different things: punitive justice and restorative justice. When we talk about punitive justice, also called retributive justice, we immediately think of paying a price. It focuses on balance. If you commit a wrongdoing, you must endure a proportionate punishment. Prison sentences, fines, even the death penalty are built on this principle. The main goal is that the offender suffers consequences, so society feels justice has been carried out through the guilty person's pain. It is like touching fire and getting burned. The pain is seen as punishment for carelessness. But MacDonald offers a completely different view: restorative justice. The goal of restorative justice is not to cause pain, but to heal. It does not ask how the wrongdoer should pay, but how to heal the wound the action caused, not only for the victim, but also for the offender and the community. Imagine a child breaks a vase. Punitive justice says the child must stand facing the wall for an hour or lose television. The purpose is to make the child feel guilty and ashamed. Restorative justice says, how do you feel about breaking the vase? Why did you do it? Can you think of a way to repair it, helping clean up, using saved money to buy a new one, or at least promising to be more careful? The purpose is not to make the child suffer, but to help them understand consequences, learn, and make amends. It focuses on growth, on returning things to a better state. MacDonald believes cosmic justice, the Creator's justice, is restorative justice. An omnipotent love cannot accept eternal suffering. This is one of MacDonald's most radical ideas and the foundation of his philosophy. If we believe in a God who is absolute, omnipotent, limitless love, can such love accept a soul suffering forever? Can love allow endless torment, eternal isolation, or a hell with no exit? MacDonald answers decisively no. An all-powerful love will not rest until every soul, no matter how lost, how fallen, is found and brought home. Love is not passive acceptance, it is an active force, always acting, always searching, always working to pull us out of the darkness of wrongdoing, selfishness, and separation from our better nature. Imagine you are a parent with a wayward child. Would you want your child to suffer eternally? Or would you do everything possible, use every means, wait patiently, even suffer with them, hoping they will one day recognize their errors and return? If human parental love is like that, how much more divine love? For MacDonald, the idea of an eternal hell is not a place to punish sin, but a place to cleanse sin, to remove what is not part of the divine nature within us. It is a painful but necessary process leading to ultimate restoration. The consequences of wrongdoing, the bitter medicine needed for healing. So if not eternal punishment, what happens to wrongdoing? MacDonald does not say there are no consequences. On the contrary, he stresses that consequences are real and often painful, but he sees them through the lens of restoration. He compares these consequences to bitter medicine necessary for curing illness. When you are seriously sick, a doctor may prescribe medicine that tastes awful or require painful surgery. That pain is not punishment from the doctor, but an essential part of healing. It is the condition for becoming well again. Likewise, spiritual pain, remorse, loneliness, and hardships arising from our wrong choices are not punishment from an angry God who wants us to suffer. They are natural mechanisms, warning signals, inner and outer forces designed to push us to recognize error, face our selfish ego, and change. When you lie, others lose trust in you as a natural consequence. That loss of trust hurts not to punish you, but to make you realize the value of truth and long to restore trust. It is bitter medicine, forcing you to face yourself and desire to become better. MacDonald believes God does not cause our pain, but God uses the pain we bring on ourselves, or that arises from drifting away from love, as a tool to draw us back, to refine and purify us. The goal is never to make us suffer forever, but to let pain become a catalyst for transformation, growth, and returning home. The meaning of universal hope for how we treat one another. If we truly believe in this restorative justice, believing every soul will ultimately be healed and return to its better nature, what does that mean for the way we live, the way we treat ourselves and others? First, it changes how we see ourselves. If we make mistakes, we will no longer be trapped in self-condemnation and hopeless guilt. Instead, we will see mistakes as painful but necessary lessons. We will have hope in our ability to change, to heal, to become a better version of ourselves. Repentance is not self-punishment, but the first step toward restoration. Second, and more importantly, it changes how we see others. If we believe even those who do terrible things are on a journey of healing, that they too are lost souls needing to be brought home, our attitude shifts. We see each person not as a sinner sentenced forever, but as a soul still on a path of healing, however rough and painful that path may be. This does not mean excusing evil or ignoring consequences. We still need justice and accountability, but it encourages understanding, forgiveness, patience, and ways to support restoration, not merely punishment and exclusion. It challenges us to look deeper into pain and the root causes behind wrongdoing. This universal hope fosters empathy. It helps us recognize that we are all human, all capable of falling, and all worthy of a chance to heal and return. It encourages a more compassionate, more patient society, where we believe everyone can come back to their better nature, and we are willing to help them on that path. MacDonald's justice is not weakness or indulgence, but the power of relentless love so steadfast and strong it refuses to accept failure. It is a brilliant beam of hope shining into the darkest corners of existence, reminding us of the ultimate purpose of suffering and every lesson healing and returning home. I hope this idea plants a seed in your heart, and that you will begin to see justice, suffering, and love through a new lens. Chapter 10. Live your life as an unspoken sermon. If the previous chapters were separate pieces, this chapter is the complete picture where everything converges. It is not only a summary, but an invitation, a loving challenge to each of us. Turn your life itself into a message, a living declaration of love, truth, and compassion. Let's begin with the truth everyone knows but sometimes forgets: your actions echo louder than 1,000 words. We can say a lot about good values, kindness, and decency, but are those words proven by how we live each day? Picture this: you have a friend who constantly talks about helping others, but whenever someone truly needs help, he finds excuses to avoid it. Meanwhile, another person may say little, but when you struggle, he quietly shows up and offers his hand. Whose sincerity would you trust and feel more deeply? Words may fly away, but our actions, no matter how small, carry their own weight and echo louder than 1,000 sermons. A sincere smile to a stranger, listening without judgment when someone is vulnerable, patience in the face of trials, generosity without self-interest. These are the most powerful unspoken sermons. We don't need a podium or a thick book. Simply living what you believe, acting according to your conscience, makes you an example, a source of inspiration. Ask yourself, what is my life preaching? Is it telling the story I want it to tell? From there, we come to a deeper idea: how can your presence bring peace to others? Have you ever walked into a room, and just because someone is there, you instantly feel calmer, as if your worries dissolve? It is not what they say or do, but the energy, the vibration of who they are. That presence is a sermon of peace and compassion without a single word. To bring peace to others, we first must find peace within ourselves. It is a state of inner stillness, of accepting yourself and the world without judgment. When you are no longer swept into anxiety, anger, or envy, you radiate a gentle, cooling field of calm. Practice conscious presence. When you are with someone, truly be there. Listen with your whole heart. Don't interrupt, don't rush to give advice. Just be a safe space for them to be themselves, to share wounds and fears without fear of being judged. That is how you gift peace, how you heal without needing words. Compassion is not pity in speech, but the ability to accompany others, to feel and accept their pain as your own. And to do that, we must continually practice living truthfully, lovingly, and humbly in every moment. This is not a one-time goal, but an ongoing journey, a conscious choice every day, every hour, even every minute. What is living truthfully? It is consistency between thought, word, and action. It is daring to be real with who you are and what you value, even when it goes against the crowd. It is not hiding weaknesses or fabricating what is not true. When you live truthfully, You don't have to wear masks or hold yourself rigid, and that frees you from the burden of falseness, bringing lightness and freedom. Love is not only loving those close to you, but expanding your heart to all beings and circumstances. It is compassion for strangers on the street, forgiveness for your own mistakes and others, generosity in the face of difference. Love is not only in grand acts, but also in small gestures, a tender look, timely encouragement, unconditional understanding, and humility. Humility does not mean low self-esteem or belittling yourself. Humility is recognizing that we are a small part of this vast universe, that everyone has lessons to share and lessons to learn. Humility is being willing to listen, to change, to admit mistakes, and to keep learning from life. It keeps us away from arrogant ego, opens our hearts to newness, and deepens our connection with others. Remember, every moment you live truthfully, lovingly, and humbly, you are adding a line to your own unspoken sermons. Every choice, every reaction, every small interaction is an unspoken sermon, sending a message into the world. And here is the most beautiful truth: your life is a unique unspoken sermon that only you can preach. No one else can live your life, and no one else can tell your story the way you can. Your experiences, scars, joys, and sorrows have shaped who you are today. Those are what make your unspoken sermon special, real, and deeply moving. You do not need to be perfect. Unspoken Sermons does not demand perfection, it demands sincerity. It asks you to live fully as your true self, to learn from mistakes, to rise from failures. Think about those who have inspired you. Were they all brilliant speakers? Or were they people who lived lives full of love, integrity, and courage, even if they never preached a single sermon? Their presence, their actions, their way of facing life became the light that guided you. So, my friends, after everything we have shared and explored together, it is time to bring these philosophies into real life. Start today, right now, in this moment. Turn your life into a powerful message of love, truth, and compassion. Let every action be a declaration of the values you believe in. Let your presence be a source of peace, a gentle breath for those around you. Live truthfully as who you are. Open your heart in love to everyone, and maintain humility so you keep learning and growing. Unspoken Sermons is not only a book, not only a video. It is an invitation to live a meaningful life that positively impacts this world without needing any ornate words. You are the sermon. You are the message. You are the Inspiration 7-Day Action Plan, living the unspoken sermons. After we have gone deep into the wonderful layers of meaning in Unspoken Sermons, perhaps you are asking yourself, how can this wisdom not remain only on the pages of a book, but truly become part of my life? How can we begin living these unspoken sermons right now? I believe that great changes often begin with small, steady steps. And that is why today I want to share with you a 7-day action plan, a gentle yet powerful path for us to practice and feel these unspoken sermons in our daily lives. This is not a difficult challenge, but an invitation for you to take a little time for yourself, to listen, and to reconnect. Think of this as a journey of discovery, and I will be your companion along the way. Day 1 and Day 2, practicing stillness. In this noisy world, stillness can feel like a luxury. We are constantly surrounded by information, sounds, and an endless stream of thoughts. But Unspoken Sermons reminds us that it is precisely in stillness that we can hear the deepest sermons, both from the outer world and from our own souls. So, during these first 2 days, I want you to spend 10 minutes each day practicing stillness. Simply sit down and do nothing. No phone, no reading, no thinking about work or worries. Just sit. Close your eyes or look at a fixed point. First, listen to the sounds outside: birds singing, traffic, wind moving, the hum of an air conditioner. Don't judge, don't cling. Just listen as they appear and fade away. Then try to listen to the stillness inside you as well. Of course, your mind will bounce around like a monkey, bringing all kinds of thoughts. Don't try to chase them away. Just gently notice them, allow them to pass, and bring your attention back to your breath, back to the present moment. I used to think meditation was something distant and complicated, but then I realized it is simply allowing myself to be myself in stillness. It helped me see that no matter how hurried the world is, I still have a peaceful space inside to take refuge in. During these 2 days, just try it and feel it. You don't need to reach any enlightened state. Giving yourself to 10 quiet minutes is enough. Day 3 and Day 4, connecting with nature. After spending time listening to your inner world, it is time to open your senses to the natural world around you. Nature is a great teacher, offering the deepest unspoken sermons. Over the next 2 days, find some time to walk in a park, sit under a tree, or simply observe a potted plant or a flower in your home. The goal is not to walk fast for exercise, but to observe, to truly see what is happening. Look closely at a tree. Do you see its branches and leaves reaching upward with strength after so many storms? Or a tiny flower still blooming brightly, even though it grows from a dry crack in the stone? Ask yourself, what is the unspoken sermon here? It might be a lesson about resilience, about life's cycles, about peace in silence, or about beauty born from simplicity. You don't need to find an overly profound or philosophical answer. Sometimes, simply feeling life flowing, feeling a connection to something greater than yourself, is already a sermon meaningful enough. Once, I sat beside an ancient tree in a park. Looking at its rough bark and thick green canopy, I wondered how many seasons of falling leaves it had witnessed. How many silent stories of people passing by. I realized its vitality was a powerful reminder of endurance and the beauty of time. Day 5 and Day 6, practicing forgiveness. This may be a slightly more challenging part, but it is also one of the most powerful unspoken sermons we can give ourselves. Forgiveness. Unspoken sermons teaches us that resentment does not hurt others, it binds our own souls. During these 2 days, I want you to think of a small resentment, some irritation you are holding towards someone, perhaps a careless remark, an action that displeased you, or a minor disappointment. Don't choose something too big or too painful right away. Start with something you feel you can let go of. When you think about it, sit quietly and close your eyes. In your mind, silently say, "I choose to let this go for my own peace." Repeat this sentence a few times. Remember, forgiveness is not overlooking someone's wrongdoing or saying what they did was right. Forgiveness is freeing yourself from the burden of anger, disappointment, and hurt. It is a gift you give yourself, so your soul can feel lighter, so you have more space for positive feelings. I once carried small grievances inside me until they became an invisible chain binding me. When I practiced letting go, even of small things, I felt real liberation, a strangely deep peace. Allow yourself to experience that. Day 7, an anonymous act of love. And finally, on the 7th day, we will end this week with a deeply meaningful act. Do something good for someone else without them knowing or recognizing it. This is one of the purest unspoken sermons about unconditional love. When you do good without expecting repayment, without needing thanks, without anyone knowing, that is when your action radiates its strongest energy. It can be anything small and simple. Buy a cup of coffee for the person behind you in line. Pick up a piece of trash that isn't yours on the road. Write an encouraging note and hide it in a public library book. Leave a kind message for someone without them knowing who you are. Help an elderly person cross the street without needing them to see your face. The goal is to act out of pure love, not for ego, not for display. You will feel a pure joy, a peace spreading from within, because you know you have planted a good seed in this world, even if it is a very small one. I remember once I bought an extra loaf of bread and asked the vendor to give it to a homeless man sitting on a street corner without telling him who it was from. When I saw his smile, my heart suddenly felt warmly lit, a true sense of happiness. That was an unspoken sermon about compassion and connection that I will never forget. Conclusion. That is the 7-day journey, a small but meaningful beginning for you to start living the wisdom of unspoken sermons. Each day, each action, no matter how small, is a step on the path of understanding yourself and the world around you. Remember, this is not a checklist of tasks to tick off and complete. This is an invitation for you to slow down, to listen, to feel, and to live with an open heart. Give it a try. I believe you will find unexpected and meaningful things. And don't forget to leave a comment below, telling me about your experience with this 7-day plan. I truly look forward to hearing the Unspoken Sermons. You have discovered 3 main points of Unspoken Sermons. Hello there. After a long journey of nearly 90 minutes with me, exploring the spiritual depths and life philosophy of Unspoken Sermons by George MacDonald, you are probably hoping for something concise and easy to remember to carry with you and reflect on, right? This book is like a vast ocean of wisdom and compassion, and summarizing it into 3 core points is no small challenge. However, I have tried to distill it, and here are the 3 most precious gems. I believe Unspoken Sermons gives us 3 messages that, if we truly absorb them, will change our lives profoundly. Let's walk through each point together. The first point, which I believe is the foundation of all awakening and inner peace, is this truth: and the sacred are not far away. They are inside you and around you in every moment. Learn to listen. You know, we often tend to seek great things, ultimate truths, in distant and mysterious places. Maybe on towering mountain peaks, in magnificent temples, or through the teachings of famous spiritual masters. But Unspoken Sermons gently reminds us that truth and divine beauty are not out of reach. They are present in every breath you take, every heartbeat, in the morning sunlight slipping through your window, the birds singing outside in the garden, or even in the stillness of the night. The question is, are we truly listening? Amid the noise of modern life, amid our worries and haste, we have forgotten how to connect with the sacred that exists right before our eyes and within us. The book invites us to pause, to breathe deeply, and to listen with our whole soul, with full presence. Listen to the small voice of intuition. Listen to the messages the universe sends through everything around us. I remember once I found a profound moment of peace simply by watching a dewdrop resting on a leaf in the early morning. That was an unspoken sermon about purity and beauty. Truth is not something to search for far away. It is simply waiting for you to open your heart and receive it. Continuing that flow of inner listening, we come to the second point, a powerful and deeply moving message. Love is the supreme force, with the power to heal and transform everything. The ultimate purpose of existence is to learn unconditional love. Unspoken Sermons affirms that love is not merely a fleeting emotion or a social relationship. It is a cosmic force, the foundation of all things, an unceasing current of energy capable of soothing the deepest wounds and healing fractures that seem impossible. Love turns hatred into understanding, fear into courage, and darkness into light. When you love, not only others are healed, but you yourself are transformed from within. And when speaking of love, the book goes beyond romantic love or family affection. It is unconditional love, a love that does not love because of something, but loves regardless of anything. Loving when life is easy, and loving even in hardship. Loving yourself, loving others, loving even the imperfections of this world. The supreme purpose of our lives, in the end, is a journey of learning to love. Learning to open our hearts, to accept and give love without demanding return. Truly, when you begin to see everything through the lens of love, the whole world suddenly becomes brighter and more meaningful. It is a miraculous power each of us can awaken. And the final point, perhaps the strongest message and the core of the name Unspoken Sermons, is this: your life is the most important message. Live so that your very existence becomes an unspoken sermon of kindness and truth. This is a deep reminder that every action, every word, even every thought is writing the story of your life. And that story is the sermon you are sending to the world. Words can be forgotten, but our actions, how we treat others, how we face challenges, leave a lasting imprint in the minds and hearts of those around us. Every smile you give, every selfless act of help, every patience you show in difficulty, every honest word, these are silent teachings filled with power. What story do you want your life to tell? A story of selfishness, or a story of compassion? A story of falsehood, or a story of truth? Unspoken Sermons does not ask us to preach with words. Instead, it urges us to live a life where even if you never say a word, your presence alone can ignite faith, inspire, and spread goodness. This is the point I find myself reflecting on the most, and reminding myself of every day. These 3 core points may be simple, but they carry endless depth. They are not dry doctrines, but invitations to live more fully, more meaningfully, and to become the best version of ourselves. Let these seeds sprout in your soul and see how your life changes in wondrous ways. If you feel that this video, even just a little, has touched some string in your soul, if it has given you a quiet moment, a new spark of light, or simply a sense of being understood, then I have a few small suggestions. These are not just social media actions. I want to see them as ways for us to connect more deeply and spread these good values together. First, if you truly find this video valuable, take a moment to press the like button. It is not just a simple click. It is a confirmation, a silent thank you for the effort I have put in, and a signal to YouTube that this is worthwhile content to share with more people. And if you want to continue this journey with me exploring more books, philosophies, and stories that have shaped humanity through the ages, don't hesitate to subscribe to our channel. Turn on notifications too, so you don't miss any unspoken sermons we will decode together in the future. That is how we build a small community where each person is an important part of the search for truth and meaning. But what I long for most is to hear from you. Among all the reflections and perspectives we touched today, which unspoken sermon has truly anchored itself in your mind? What made you pause, reflect, or even reconsider some aspect of your life? Leave a comment below. This is not only sharing your personal thoughts, but also creating a sincere space for dialogue where each of us can learn from others' experiences and viewpoints. Who knows, your comment might be another unspoken sermon that opens a new door for me and for other viewers reading it. I genuinely look forward to your sharing, and if you feel this content is valuable, if it has lit a spark in you, then perhaps it can do the same for someone else. Think of a friend, a family member, or anyone you believe needs to hear these messages. Maybe they are standing at a crossroads, seeking meaning, or simply craving a fresh perspective to escape everyday busyness. Share this video with them. Your small act could be a great gift, an invitation for them to join the journey into the depths of the soul and wisdom. That is how we, each in our own way, create a ripple effect of positivity and meaning. Finally, but no less importantly, if you have felt the pull of what we discussed today, if you have been drawn to the depth of George MacDonald's thought, I sincerely encourage you to read Unspoken Sermons yourself. What we shared today is only a small part, a gentle introduction. The original book is a treasure, an ocean of wisdom and love. Every page is a door to deeper reflections and more personal insights that no video can fully convey. Take your time, slowly contemplate each line of MacDonald's words. You will be amazed at how he can touch hidden corners of the soul, and how these unspoken sermons continue to echo and illuminate your path through life. Let it accompany you in quiet, contemplative moments. The journey of discovering wisdom is never ending, and I am truly honored to have you with me on this path. Remember that sometimes the deepest lessons come from words unspoken, from the quiet moments we give ourselves to contemplate and listen to the echoes within. Thank you for your precious time. See you in the next videos, where we will continue decoding the mysteries of life and wisdom. Goodbye, and I wish you a peaceful day filled with reflection.